electric cars a thing and is currently working.
Bill, electric cars have been around since the, like, either the early 1900s. God help me if it isn't the late 1800s. Oh, interesting. The first electric car in the United States was developed in 1890 by William Morrison of Des Moines, Iowa. It is a 6-passenger wagon capable of reaching a speed of about 14 miles per hour, which back then was basically going the speed of God himself. Elon Musk actually invented electric cars. Motherfucker's actually a time traveler from Des Moines, Iowa. Who knew? God fucking damn it. Catalina Gearbox, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Hugs, I hope your mom gets better. Thank you very much, Catalina. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for your support. We have water-based engines, too. They're still shitty, but they exist. Well, yeah, look, powering your car with a steam engine is not the best idea. It's doable, but, like, not the best idea. Electric cars, on the other hand, great idea. 10 out of 10 idea. Anyway, we're 4 seconds into this Bill Maher clip, and I'm already deeply upset with both Bill Maher and the concept of Elon Musk.
Working on perfecting reusable rockets, space travel, connecting the human brain directly to computers, connecting cities with electromagnetic bullet trains, the Starlink satellite system that's so important to.
That's so much bullshit in the course of like 5 seconds. How?
Perfecting reusable rockets, space travel, connecting the human.
Elon Musk didn't invent the concept of reusable rockets. For fuck's sake.
Human brain directly to computer.
Literally his most recent attempt to shoot something into space resulted in a gigantic explosion.
Connecting cities with electromagnetic.
He hasn't connected the human brain to computers. I'm sorry. The last time you know what? You're right. I don't know. You know what? Neuralink. News. Let's see. Oh shit. Okay, as of 15 hours ago, they have put 50 brain chips in people. That's actually pretty cool. Oh wait. Never mind. Actually, this was a different biotech firm. Elon Musk has yet to get FDA approval to start their human testing because basically they're just shoving computer chips into pig brains. All right? Okay, so nope, actually I was just misreading this goddamn this Yeah, and like definitely still scary. Like putting computer chips into human brains, very scary concept. But also the last person you would want to let shove a computer chip in your brain is Elon Musk. And on top of that, like, the other thing is, like, the testing on human subjects would be done on people who have, like, extreme, like, mobility issues and, like, need like a human brain computer interface directly on that level. And frankly, they're probably pretty desperate for something like that, you know? Oh, wait. Oh god, it's actually, you know what? The story doesn't actually become that much better as I scroll down. BlackRock Neurotech, headquartered in Salt Lake City, aspires to cure physical disability. Just out of curiosity, is this related to BlackRock, the venture capitalist firm? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Does BlackRock own BlackRock Neurotech? BlackRock, owned by its parent company BlackRock Microsystems, was founded in 2008 and is based in Salt Lake City. Wait, that didn't actually answer the question. Here we go. Ah, good. Peter Thiel backed it. Well, who can naysay it now? Fuck, I hate big tech so much. I hate the fucking oligarchs behind these big tech platforms. The fact that we all need to know who Peter Thiel is to be politically literate in this day and age sucks ass. I just want to. I don't care about the board of directors. I just want to know, is BlackRock like venture capitalist firm owning BlackRock Tech? Silicon Valley. Too many evil corpos are near this. Yeah, like I don't even want to really speculate on the kind of evil they could do with this sort of tech. But I mean, I'm sure in the short term it will yield some positive results for people with severe physical disabilities. Um, BlackRock Microsystems. Who owns BlackRock Microsystems? Why is it so hard to figure this shit out? Okay. Alright. Interest has dwindled. No clear answer in the last 10 seconds.
Magnetic bullet trains, the Starlink satellites.
Elon Musk has actively opposed electromagnetic bullet trains. We could have had high-speed rail. He literally torpedoed that idea by pitching his tunnel for cars idea, that the two small tunnels for cars, or the hyperloop. That the hyperloop isn't an electromagnetic bullet train. It's just a fucking stupid idea. God.
System that's so important to the war in Ukraine. And then on Tuesday.
Yeah, no one else could have ever invented satellite internet. No one else could have ever done that. No, sir. Satellites capable of enabling telecommunications? That's crazy, Bill. That's crazy. Also, for those of you who don't know what Hyperloop is, Hyperloop was a vacuum-sealed tunnel that Elon Musk proposed like 10 years ago, and people soyed all over it so hard that they actually started trying to build it. And of course it failed miserably, because you have to vacuum seal like miles upon miles upon miles of terrain, while also ensuring that, people inside of the pods that would be shot through the hyperloop don't asphyxiate. Military did it back in the early 70s with satellites and video. Yeah, we've literally been able to do this shit for like 50 years. When people suffocate in the vacuum, well, that's why they're in the pods. It failed and people love it. Yeah, it's actually silly beyond all belief.
He's going to work on that tunnel thing on traffic. He also tweets a lot. Elon Musk, ladies and gentlemen. Look at you.
Honestly, okay, the only way Elon Musk could ever redeem himself in my eyes is if he devoted all of his wealth to building like a life-sized Gundam, okay? That's the only way. It's the only way. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about anything he does unless he builds a life-size Gundam. And I mean the works. Laser sword. Giant shield. You know, ridiculous catchphrases bound by destiny.
Wow.
Hey, you guys voted for politics, okay? Not me.
What, did I get the full order of things that you do in a day there? When I was reading there, I left out the tunnel thing at the end. Do you work on all these
a
things?
lot of jobs.
Do you do all these things every day? Do you work on all of them in a single day?
No.
No.
But I do have, I do have a long work day. Yeah. So
Bullshit.
I work a lot.
Bullshit.
Well, I'm so thrilled you're here because, you know, we do a show where we talk about what changes happen in the world, but we just talk. There's a very few people who actually make change happen. You are one of those people, probably.
What did he change, Bill?
You know,
I just want to say I love this audience.
well,
Well, they're used to clapping for Bill Maher, so they're very easily entertained, Elon.
well, you're a likable guy. I mean,
Thanks.
I mean,
you know.
they attack you.
Bill! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Literally, one of the most popular images of Elon Musk is of him in a Wario costume. What? Like what? The fuck? The UN, he complained about the UN not ending world hunger, and like when the UN called him out for that, like he was like, "Oh, present me with a plan, I'll fully fund it." And then when the UN bothered to actually put resources to developing a plan in the ways that Elon Musk could personally make a donation to end world hunger, wow, crickets for years. He is not a likable man.
You a lot.
They do.
Yeah. and you seem to laugh it off, which I think is fantastic.
Bill Maher actually gets this laugh reaction from his audience because he has armed guards come out during every show, and they raise their AK-47s towards the audience every time they need a laugh.
I love it that you have a sense of humor, because a guy as important as you who makes changes could use your powers for evil and not good. The fact that
absolutely.
you could.
I would.
Ha 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 ha. Yeah, he could, like, yeah, he could use his powers for evil, you know? Don't look into too much about Elon Musk and his positions and lobbying for lithium. Don't look into that too much because that might be that might be revealing some evil there, though. Ooh, boy howdy.
Of course, I would. Yeah, never use them for evil. That's
No, I
crazy.
know. But the way I know that is because you have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
You really do.
I
you
aspire
like,
to,
yeah,
yeah.
you like laughing. You like to be funny.
I mean, I kill me.
Right.
Yeah. Hmm.
No, as opposed to somebody like Zuckerberg, who I'm not even sure is a real boy.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I've been alerted of this incredibly fun fact. The very first electric car debuted at the World's Fair in the late 1800s, and not only that, it debuted alongside, get this, the first hamburgers and the early versions of the zipper. So, literally, electric cars have been around as long as hamburgers have existed. Okay, so like, I don't know. Kind of puts that into perspective. I don't think Elon Musk has been around as long as hamburgers.
I actually love comedy, and actually, many years ago, I actually was in the audience here and watched your show.
Oh,
so,
really?
I've been a long time admirer of your show.
Oh, well, thank you. Let me get back to you being a genius. Okay, so, but that has always been my view, is that I was a history major, and when you study
Great.
history, what you realize is that, you know, there's the great man theory, and they talk about kings and princes and queens and presidents. It's really the people in tech who change the world. They're the people who deal the cards.
God, Bill Maher is such trash. Like, how can anyone unironically like watch this show and enjoy him? He's insufferable. He's an insufferable hack.
Whether it's fire or electricity, or, for good or bad, or the cotton gin, or the iPhone, or the atom bomb, those are the cards, and the rest of us just play it. Would you agree with that assessment?
What the fuck are you talking about, Bill? You don't play with the atom bomb card. What the fuck are you talking about? You don't have that card. Just fucking, what the fuck, man? Elon hasn't invented shit. The reason Elon is wealthy is because of his his dad's illegal emerald mine in South Africa that was run very sketchily during apartheid, and then also he happened to be like a rich fail son who invested in PayPal. Like, that's literally the only reason he has obscene amounts of money. He invested in PayPal and then basically did corporate goofs for the next decade, and managed to convince enough people that he's Tony fucking Stark. That's literally his contribution to the world. Yeah, PayPal fired him for being a fucking jag.
I think technology is the thing that causes these big step changes in civilization. So,
Hey, say what you want. At least Thomas Edison invented stuff, you know? He might have stolen some of those inventions, but at least a couple of them he invented himself. Elon, you can't even claim that, okay?
obviously, you've got things like, say, the Gutenberg press, before which
Right.
it was very difficult to get books. They were
Yes.
very rare. Even if you had a thirst for knowledge, you really couldn't do anything about it because there were very few books to read. So, and the internet is something beyond the Gutenberg press, I think. But you know, it's when I first saw the internet coming into being in a way that the general public could use it, it felt like the humanity is.
He's waxing poetic, chat. In case you don't understand, he's waxing poetic about how he looked at the internet and then thought to himself, hey, it'd be probably a good idea if someone made a bank but online, and then just invested in another company that was already doing that. And he's trying to be like, yes, I basically foresaw the future.
As a whole was developing a nervous system. So previously, the way that information would travel would be by osmosis, one person to another, or one person calling another.
Or, fucking newspapers, ding dong. What? They had mass communications, Elon. They were just called newspapers. Fuck, man.
The access to information was very limited. Now, with the internet, it's like having a nervous system. It's like any part of humanity has access to almost all the information of humanity. Like you could be in the middle of the Amazon jungle with, say, a Starlink terminal and have access to more information than the president did in 1980.
Right. Well, anything on your phone
Everything.
is.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are one of these dealers, these people who deal the cards in
I deal with some memes too.
Yes, you do.
Some.
Mudge is my pug. Thank you for the 5 gifted subs over on Twitch. I appreciate it. But, good God. I can believe Elon Musk acting this way. What I can't believe is this reaction.
Yes, you do.
Some.
So I think a lot of people thought when you.
The fuck, man? Who are these people?
Bought Twitter, that this is kind of an outlier. Like, what doesn't fit with these
Sure.
other things you're doing? I never thought that.
Oh,
Because I
yeah.
think you're dealing with big civilizational issues and problems, and I was right on your page. I think Twitter is one of them. I mean, you have talked about this
Yeah.
woke mind virus
Yes.
in really apocalyptic terms.
Yeah.
You should explain why you don't think it's hyperbole to say things like it's pushing civilization towards suicide. First of all, what is the woke mind virus? And if we don't deal with this, nothing else can get done. Tell me why you think that.
Are you guys okay, wait. Chat, anyone want to make a wager? Anyone want to make a wager that they don't actually define what woke is or even what woke mind virus means? Oh god. Also, chat, breaking news. The Met Gala cockroach has been stepped on. Ripperonis, pour one out for a real one, okay?
Yeah, so I think we need to be very cautious about anything that is anti-meritocratic and anything that is that results in the suppression of free speech. So, those are two of the aspects of the woke mind virus that I think are very dangerous. Is that it's often anti-meritocratic. You can't question things. Even the questioning is bad. So,
People like this always talk about how, oh, you can't question things anymore. You can't question things anymore. And like then you look at like their timeline and it's like they're talking about they aren't questioning anything. They're actively peddling like racism or transphobia. They're actively out there just being like trans women are actually men, trans men are actually women, and, I just don't understand why I can't say the F slur or the N word anymore. Like that's you boil it down, and at the end of the day, they're just so upset that they can't call us faggots anymore. They're so goddamn upset.
Another way to almost synonymous would be cancel culture. And obviously people have tried to cancel you many times.
Many times.
Yeah, I mean,
Every week.
yeah.
The network calls him every week, pleading for him to just go.
From left and right. I've had it from both sides.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. You and I are both like in that little group of people. Maybe it's a bigger group now.
Yeah.
Who are called conservative, who haven't really changed. I don't think of you as a conservative.
I'm definitely, yeah, like, I at least think of myself as a moderate, So, I mean, at least the like.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they're ultimately just complaining about the paradox of tolerance that, you know, when you invite a more diverse cast of people to, like, join into a conversation and join into society, then all of a sudden, like, well, you can't continue to just tolerate the bigotry against those people, right? Because you've recognized them as human beings. BFT, thank you very much for subscribing.
Spent a massive amount of my life energy building sustainable energy, electric
Yes.
vehicles and batteries and solar and stuff to help save the environment. That's not a, you know,
No.
it's not exactly far right.
No,
you
you
know?
drew that.
Elon Musk here is doing what is called a lie. Okay? Elon Musk didn't get into Tesla or SpaceX or any of these business ventures to save the world. He got into them to make money. He's a businessman. He's always been a businessman. He didn't invest in PayPal because, like, he felt like it was just the most altruistic thing to do to make sure that everyone with internet access could use a bank. No, he didn't do that for that reason. He did it to make money. And it's not that difficult to understand. You know? Yeah, good meme, Catalina Gearbox. Thank you for sharing.
You drew that diagram once where you're
Yeah.
here. I related to that, and like the world has changed.
Right.
I feel the same way. I feel like very often wokeness is not building on liberalism. It's the opposite of liberalism. I can mention
Exactly.
many
This is-
examples where it's the including free speech.
Free speech is actually is extremely important, and it's bizarre that we've come to this point where.
You know, it's odd that Elon says this because records show that Twitter has since complied with every single government request for data to be taken down off of Twitter since he took power at Twitter. Whereas previously, only 50% of those requests were actually honored. So he's literally contributed it more to the suppression of free speech on Twitter than the previous owners of Twitter. Like, this whole thing is just him lying nonstop. He doesn't give a shit about free speech. He doesn't. He cares about the money. And at the end of the day, what he has with Twitter is that he's making kind of this Faustian bargain, right? He's trying to get more users onto the platform by just not moderating content on there anymore. You know, like, there was a guy just the other day who, like, ran a poll as to whether or not the United States should execute trans people, you know, or execute any caregiver to a trans person. Like, well, yeah, that's the thing about a Faustian bargain, right? There are short-term gains, but ultimately your soul is damned. And I feel like in the long term, that kind of applies to Elon Musk's situation. Oh yeah, also, yeah, not to mention the blackmail for a horse. Just what a fucking weirdo.
Like free speech used to be a left or liberal value, and yet we see from the in quotes left a desire to actually censor, and that seems crazy. I mean, I think we should be extremely concerned about anything that undermines the First Amendment. There's a reason for.
The Paradox of Tolerance by philosopher Karl Popper. Should a tolerant society tolerate intolerance? You want more tolerance? Respect my ideas. The answer is no. It's a paradox, but unlimited tolerance can lead to the extinction of tolerance. When we extend tolerance to those who are openly intolerant, let's give them a chance. The tolerant ones end up being destroyed, and tolerance with them. Any movement that preaches intolerance and persecution must be outside of the law. As paradoxical as it might seem, defending tolerance requires to not tolerate the intolerant. Nazi punks fuck off. In short.
For the First Amendment. The First Amendment is because people came from countries where they could not.
Blackjack
speak
Sass, thank you for
freely,
the raid.
and where saying certain things would get you thrown into prison. And they were like, well, we don't want that here. And by the way, in many parts of the world, including parts of the world that people might think are relatively similar to the United States, the speech laws are draconian.
England is quite different.
I won't name any countries, but
England, why are we protecting them? They have no First Amendment. It's very easy to prove libel in England, whereas here it's almost...
I love England.
Strangely enough, most countries don't have a First Amendment. At least, if they do have a First Amendment, it's not the same as the United States' First Amendment because, you know, different countries have different legal and constitutional structures.
But,
yeah, I do too, but I wouldn't want to say the wrong thing. Or
yeah.
Jesus Christ. What is the audio mixing on this interview? Just real quick.
But,
Yeah,
I do too, but I wouldn't want to say the wrong thing.
The extra loud laughs from like right headphone and left headphone actually scared the shit out of me.
Or
yes,
you could be sued easier. There are laws in France. I think if you deny the Holocaust, which I think is abhorrent, but I also think it should be part of free speech.
Right.
Why? Why? I think actually teaching that the Holocaust didn't happen is bad and should not be allowed. Yeah, actually, you know? The fuck, Bill.
You can be thrown into jail. Okay, so this I really can't emphasize this enough. We must protect free speech, and free speech only matters.
Sorry, can I want one of these chuckle fucks to explain to me why it is valuable to have a society in which, like, you allow the spread of information, or misinformation rather, like the Holocaust never happened. What is the value in that specific line of thought and reasoning of Holocaust denial? What is the good there that we need to protect? What is the core of truth and decency within Holocaust denial that we need to protect legally? Yeah, maybe. I'm just jumping over this. I have no interest in like actually pursuing a longer or more in-depth position than that.
It's only relevant when it's someone you don't like.
Yeah, true. Post-World War II denazification laws exist across a lot of Europe and have been effective to varying degrees to suppressing the emergence of such groups again. Yeah, I think that maybe it's a good thing that the countries that have previously fallen to fascism have relatively harsh stances legally and culturally against fascism rising up again. In fact, that might be something that we see is increasingly necessary, given the fact that fucking Italy is full of fascists again.
Like saying something you don't like, because obviously speech that you like is
yes,
that's easy. So it's the thing about censorship is that sure for those who would advocate it, just remember at some point that will be turned on you.
So, hey, Elon, I would argue that censorship has already been turned on me by you letting people back onto your platform and deliberately not policing them to allow speech of others advocating for the mass arrest and execution of trans people. That's speech that's allowed on Twitter right now. And I would argue that that has a fairly censorious effect on trans folk. But the speech of those you disagree with is always harder to stomach, right, Elon? So that's why you want those people on your platform, because you agree with them.
This woke mind virus, how did it start? Was it bats? Was it a
Yeah.
escape from a lab? I mean, what is your assessment of what? Because it's fairly recent. How did it start and why?
Bill Maher trying to seem like he is asking like a very deep question when in reality all he's asking is like, Elon, you're a rich guy that people dislike. What makes you think that people like just want to be treated like humans? Well, why do you think people think that all of a sudden? Why do you think that marginalized people are suddenly being so uppity these days?
So I was trying to figure out where it's coming from. I think it's actually been a long time brewing, in that I think it's been going on for a while. And
I think it's been going on for a little while. Ever since apartheid ended in South Africa, I've been seeing it. I've been seeing this woke mind virus spreading to other countries, and it's finally gotten to America. Like what, Elon? Elon, I feel like unironically that might be Elon's answer if he was being completely honest. Like, if he was being completely honest, the woke mind virus really started with the end of apartheid in South Africa. When his father couldn't run the Emerald Mine anymore because the government would look too closely now at how the treatment of black slaves was going. Just spitballing here.
The amount of indoctrination that's happening in schools and universities is, I think, far beyond what parents realize. And I sort of came to realize this somewhat late. The experience that we had in high school and college is not the experience that kids today are having.
Yeah, no shit. No shit. Time has passed. Kids and schools now know how to teach children better than when they taught us. When Bill Maher was in school, they probably still did corporal punishment where they like beat children in the school. And then we learned that, hey, actually beating kids does not help them to learn better. And then we also learned that socially ostracizing kids and like mocking them publicly also doesn't help them learn better. And like over time, we've learned how to foster better learning environments and better curriculum that are more like successful for children at different developmental levels. It's almost like we've gotten better at the thing we've been doing. And instead of just being like, yeah, that it's actually good that we're doing better now, all of these old farts are just talking about like how we did it was better though. And like in that respect, they are no different than every old out of touch fogey that has ever existed. Every old person at any point in not every old person, but like every out of touch old person at any point throughout human history has been able to say something along the lines of, kids these days, they don't know how good they have it. Or like, kids these days, they're getting soft and weak. Like fucking Aristotle talked about this when he wrote about it. Like we thousands of years of human history, people have been making this same argument. It's just that now they're gussing it up with woke mind virus instead of just like the younger generation is soft and weak or whatever,
And hasn't been for, I don't know, 10 years, maybe 20 years. So.
Aren't parents themselves also a big part of the problem?
Well, I suppose in some cases that parents, but I think like
I don't know, Bill. I don't think you want to talk to this guy about the way parents treat their kids. Okay, this guy literally thinks his trans child should be like tortured until they become untrans. So, you know, like I don't know if you want to broach that subject, Bill.
Parents are just generally not aware of what their kids are being taught, or what they're not being taught.
But they're letting the kids think that they're equal.
I mean,
That's a really interesting turn of phrase, Bill. That's a doozy of a deuce to drop in this interview.
yeah. Let me give you an example that a friend of mine told me, which you know, his daughters go to college go to high school in the Bay Area, and he was asking them, like, well, so who are the first few presidents of the United States? They could name Washington, and I said, well, what do you know about him? Well, he was a slave owner. What else?
Right. Exactly.
Nothing.
Right.
Like,
Who cares? Like, I'm sorry, Elon, in your day-to-day activities, how important is it to you to know, like, the life story of George Washington? How important is it to you that you know the second president of the United States? Like, day to day, are you having to pull that fact out, like, every other conversation? Every 5 conversations? Are you, like, in the middle of, like, one of your, what I'm sure are many and numerous engineering meetings, and you're just like, hey guys, what about that George Washington, am I right? Like, no, you're not. You're not. Shut your fucking mouth. You don't know what the fuck you're even talking about right now. That isn't a thing you're pulling out in your day-to-day existence. And you know what? You know what? Worthwhile thing to take away from learning about George Washington existing is, you know, a guy, legendary freedom fighter, who fought against no taxation without representation against the British. At the end of the day, still fucking owned people as property who did not have representation in the new system he put together. Like, that kind of a relevant factor for understanding all of American history. Kind of relevant. Just a little bit. But, you know, I'm Elon Musk. No.
okay, that's, maybe you should know more than that. You know, yeah.
Yeah. That is the woke mind virus. Exactly.
Elon Musk, pretending like. I gotta be honest with you guys. This is actually. I had heard that this interview was bad. This is actually mind-bogglingly stupid. That got fucking applause down, man. This is the easiest audience. Like they slipped this entire audience, like, I don't know, like cans of nitrous right before this. Something like that. I have no idea. What was the woke mind virus? Something First Amendment something.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, you know, slavery is obviously a horrific institution, but we should still know more about George Washington than that.
And by the way, one that was practiced all over the world
Yes.
forever, since the beginning of time, by every race,
Yes.
including people of color. I'm sorry
Yes.
to tell you that.
How does that make it better? Like, I've heard this argument, right? I've heard this argument before. Like, oh, well, everyone else was doing slavery. America was literally a country founded on the idea of freedom and equality. And, like, it is deeply and structurally hypocritical that then it continued to own people, to be legal to own people as property for hundreds of years. Or, sorry, 100 years. Something like that. Like, on top of that, if you're going to talk so broadly about slavery, it is worth noting that the transatlantic slave trade was something that was uniquely awful in the Americas. It was uniquely awful. And it was founded largely to facilitate labor in the Americas, i.e., including one of the countries that fought against the British and overthrew them successfully. It was a different kind of slavery that was predicated entirely upon the color of one's skin. This is why freed men who happened to be black in the Americas could simply just be enslaved again. I don't know, Bill Maher seems like the type of white lib who would have soy-faced over 12 years a slave, so I figured he would have known that. But, probably couldn't have been bothered to watch that one. That probably was something that would have infected him with the woke mind virus, am I right? Oh, boy, he dodged a bullet there. Yeah, not to mention, the genocide of the Native Americans. But, it's just wild to me. Literally, you could own a person from the time they were born to the time they died, and in the time in between, you as a white person could do anything to them, and no one would give a shit. Conservatives will point at the system and be like, well, technically it was illegal to, mistreat your slave. Those laws were not enforced. They were not enforced at all. Thomas Jefferson famously had sexual relationships with his slaves. And you know what? I don't think you can really have a consensual relationship with people you fucking own, who know that they can be killed and nothing will be done about it. It was illegal to teach slaves how to read. And I don't want to, I'm not making excuses here for other forms of slavery. It's all bad, right? But, if you were in other societies at different points in times throughout history that had slavery, slaves usually had some degree of legal right, or there was some sort of reciprocal relationship expected between master and slave. Okay? Usually there was some kind of reciprocal relationship. There were some kind of defined rights. And in the case of the transatlantic slave trade, no, there were none. Literally, half the people died, in transit from the places that they were abducted to the United States because they were just so mistreated and no one gave a shit. But yeah, sure, Bill. The United States didn't do anything uniquely bad. Nope. No, sir. Oh, also, yeah, no other place on the planet, as far as I know, had slaves as a racial category. I studied a lot of medieval and ancient history for the minor I have in history. So obviously there are going to be people who know more about this than me, but from my experience, getting my degree, turns out most other societies that had slave systems or who took slaves during conquests were not taking slaves on the basis of their skin color. There are African Americans from my hometown with my maternal family's surname, which is the name of the town's founders. Some people claim the freed slaves chose the name, but genetic testing proved they are related to us. Yeah. Yeah. Yo, One Hand Wonder, thank you for the $69 dono. Thank you for all the many hours of good content. Well, thank you very much for that incredibly nice dono. Very, very nice. Thank you so goddamn much for supporting the channel, because without your support, guys, I can't make these shows. And I keep turning up for you guys because I love you, and also because you guys help me to feed myself. So, you know, it's kind of a win-win. Also, I cannot believe it. We are only halfway through this godforsaken interview.
It's huge in the Bible.
Absolutely. So
Bible loves it.
we're yeah,
Really?
Yes, they're quite strict about, like, you know, don't take someone else's slave and that kind of thing.
Right, but no one ever says just don't do it.
Yeah, they don't. At no point does it say slavery is bad in the Bible.
No.
They do not condemn it at all. They just so it's
But Twitter is not doing bad, right? I mean, I saw today that Tucker Carlson recently fired. You were just on his show and he lost his job, so I hope this isn't an omen.
Yeah.
Oh God, we can only hope, Bill. We can only hope. We can only hope.
But
Hopefully,
what are you, the angel of death? You go around.
This is the first genuine applause his audience has given in this entire interview.
Exactly. I'm not the typhoid Mary of talk shows.
Oh yeah, by the way, if anyone wants to read about the extent to which you could literally do anything to enslaved peoples during this time, highly recommend the book King Leopold's Ghost. There's kind of a direct through line from the transatlantic slave trade to the Holocaust, actually, and I think King Leopold's Ghost actually does a really good job at kind of building the bridge there by painting us a picture of what it was like in the Belgian Congo under King Leopold II. Very, like, one of the most influential historical books I ever read in my life. Highly recommend it. It is a brutal and awful read, but highly recommend it.
But
For some reason, people just get fired out.
His rant yesterday or today on Twitter
It was yesterday or something. Or
it did
a couple
more
days ago?
than every cable news monologue or something like that. Is that right?
Well, Twitter has a tremendous audience. So there's 250 million people that spend an average of half an hour a day on Twitter. So it's about 120 to 130 million user hours per day, and it's been increasing. So we didn't do anything, to be clear, we did nothing special whatsoever. I learned about it afterwards, that he'd posted something on Twitter. So it's just that Twitter has a lot of people's attention. And it tends to be the people that are that read a lot or are interested in current events and generally are pretty influential. So.
But most of the people who tweet are the same people, right? I mean, the people who actually tweet are supposed to just reading it.
Yeah.
I feel like I've read this many times, that's a very, very small percentage of the people on Twitter, and it seems like, see, here's why I don't tweet anymore, because you may be the mayor of Tweet Town now.
Yeah, and I'm mayor of Tweet Town. And we're getting a cap with that.
And I'm glad, and I like it that the mayor likes my jokes, but the reason I don't do it anymore is because the mob of Mean Girls is still there. And that has not changed.
No,
like, it's too easy to get canceled. And I don't even know what pisses them off. They're so nuts, these kids. I feel like I'm walking on a roof with a blindfold. I could fall off any time. Now, that was the most innocuous thing, but it's like, you know, I said George Washington was a great president. Oh, how dare you?
Yeah, exactly. It had some flaws, but
like, I don't know, Bill. Maybe you could, like, listen to what they're saying, or, like, I don't know, take a quick Google. Also, you know, like, if you're gonna give shit to anyone for, like, a take, George Washington being a great president, you can make some definitely good arguments for George Washington being a great president, but, like, fully expect people to point out that he, you know, owned slaves, and how that kind of, like, is one of the most hypocritical aspects of his presidency, you know? But, you know, whatever.
So how do you fix
He was
that,
instrumental in the
Mr. Mayor?
creation of the United States. So,
Yeah.
well, you have to say, like, well, what does canceled mean? You know, I mean, yes, if people attack you on Twitter, that's one thing, but frankly, that's just going to increase engagement. So I would just ignore it.
Well, that's easy for you because they can't take your job away or any of your main 10 jobs, but they could take mine, and they did once, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
okay, well, fair.
Ugh, what a nice reprieve that was, too.
you know, I was like literally canceled. And,
You were
know, yeah, I mean, like,
There's a part of me that thinks this I know I'm being a pause champ. I apologize. I know. All I gotta say is that this kind of sounds like Bill Maher is begging Elon Musk for a job.
show is canceled.
It's
So,
like,
so you were in Congress, at Congress the other day, talking with Chuck Schumer about AI. I'm very interested in this because you've been on this for years. I've always thought you were right about this. I think you're right about almost everything. I mean, let's have more babies and raise them on Mars. I don't get that, but okay.
well,
I can't wait for Elon Musk to attempt to talk about AI because I know for a fact that this guy does not know what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to AI.
I think we should be cautious about civilizational decline and we have plummeting birth rates most places, yeah.
Right, and also plummeting resources. I mean,
no, resources will be fine.
but they're not
And
fine.
I know a lot of
Also, Elon is correct about this. Malthusian economic theory about like, oh, we're going to run out of resources because the Earth cannot sustain 10 billion people, 12 billion people. That's all nonsense, by the way. With the resources just on this planet alone, properly managed, we could easily have a population in the trillions. Okay, like for real. Like no cap, no fooling. But also the idea that like, oh no, the population isn't growing as fast anymore. The only reason Elon Musk even gives a shit about that is because he wants as many people as possible to be workers in his like slave factories, okay? Like that's what he wants. He needs more people for like the lithium mines. On God? Yeah, Spitfire, on God. It turns out that Malthusian economics is not real. It's not actually going to like end us, you know? You could make arguments about how like we're going to be in trouble because of like this or that resource being in shorter supply, but like generally speaking, there are ways to manufacture those resources, or there are other ways that we can procure them in the near to short term, okay? Like, it's not, we're not, like, in danger of, like, running out of arable land, for example, because we have other ways we can actually farm things. We've gone over them on this channel, right? Like, even if you run out of, like, fertile soil, right? We have aquaponics. We have aeroponics. There are so many different ways that we can use our resources and our space in effective and efficient ways. You cannot manufacture elements like copper. That's true. But we're also not running out of copper. And if we were, there are ways to obtain more, okay? We are out of copper. Copper is literally one of the most common ores on our planet. Yeah, Robert Ad said I like Isaac Arthur a lot. Also, even if you were to make the argument that, oh, Earth is completely out of copper, we have a... Only if we strip mine and destroy huge areas for it. I genuinely don't believe that that is the case. From everything I know, we literally have like hundreds of years of like copper available to us. That being said, if we ever were in like a dire situation, we have solutions. We actually have viable solutions within like the short term, and some of them are, hey, we could tow an asteroid and mine it up in the upper atmosphere. That's something we can do. Or not the upper atmosphere, but like in Earth orbit or lunar orbit. Look it up. I did look it up. I looked it up. The results were we have hundreds of years of copper left. We have like even if we stopped mining copper today, we'd still have 40 years of copper in the US reserves alone. But yes, long term, you are correct. Long term, eventually, finite resources on this planet could run out. That being said, there are other places we can mine for resources, which is why people are talking about mining on the moon or mining asteroids. But should we? Why the fuck not? Why shouldn't we mine asteroids? All hail ibuprofen, the making it possible to leave bed on bad days king. True. Shit ton of copper in landfills we could recycle. Yup. What about helium, though? We can also mine helium? Hey, Abusel. You know, because we can't seem to mine cleanly. Well, yeah, we can't seem to mine cleanly, but I feel like that's less of a problem up in space. We could just end up polluting something else. Like what? What are we gonna pollute in space? Would dicks be a good mining tool? Only if they're really hard. Have you seen all the space junk? It's kind of an issue. It's literally not an issue. like we are so far off topic right now, but like literally when we talk about like objects in space, part of that is just how we dispose of things in space, and honestly, we've gotten a lot better at that in recent years, which is why like satellites deorbit because they burn up in the atmosphere. For helium, we should just mine the sun. I mean, we should do a lot of things with the sun, but wouldn't be the worst idea. Oil the sun. Just crash them into mountains like I do with my space junk in Kerbal Space Program, except that your space junk in real world space is not going to crash into mountains. It's just going to burn up during re-entry. You can almost always substitute aluminum for copper anyway. True. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna be mining the moon at some point, and that will probably solve a lot of these issues. For any actual shortages that we can't just recycle or make do without, you know. You know, we could save a lot of metal if we abandoned coin currencies. I mean, sure, but which metals? Like zinc? No, you'll get corrosion when you mix metals like that? Like what? They're not going to melt down aluminum and then copper. They're not going to melt them together. Destroy all the pennies. Koopa Shell. Out here driving chaos. Without the penny, we will fall to the forces of the Chaos Dragon. Can we talk about how Bill Maher went to being upset that hate speech wasn't allowed to being upset that people were using free speech to yell at him? Yeah. We can. Would it help if I threw all these car batteries into the ocean? Oh, absolutely. Better yet, pour them into the local water supply. Don't do that. Don't do that. The copper anarchist. True. True. I mean, KBS, I'm assuming that people aren't talking about replacing aluminum with copper when it comes to like the electrical grid. I think they're talking about in other respects.
They're not fine now.
No, look, I'm not suggesting.
And anyway, long story short, our planet has more than enough resources for us to last literally like millions, hundreds of millions of years on its surface. Totally fine. We have the ability to get more precious metals from deep under the earth. We literally covered the advent of like laser drilling on this channel like last week. We have the ability to extract more resources from our planet than we were able to at any point ever in history. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine, guys. Well, now I'm getting competing people telling me the electrical grid is copper or aluminum. I don't care. Long story short, either way, we can deal with it, and we have more than enough resources. Yeah, honestly, if there's one thing I wanted you guys to take away from this stream, it's that you need to hoard all of the copper in your possession, because the one thing Mad Max got wrong is that Mad Max said that it was going to be water wars. It's going to be copper wars. Okay. We about to do Bronze Age 2 Electric Boogaloo, baby.
Complacency. We do want to move to a sustainable energy economy as quickly as possible, but we're not in any danger of resource collapse.
But lots of people don't have enough food or water.
Bill, that's not because we don't have food or water. It's because we don't distribute the food or water.
Water, we will run out of water. They're running out of sand.
No, Earth is 70% water by surface area.
But you can't drink that.
But desalination
Oh no, God, Bill, you're so fucking dumb that Elon Musk is running circles around you.
Nation is absurdly cheap.
Why don't we do it then?
We do.
It is done.
You have a lot of free time.
It is done.
We do. Bill, we do it. We have multiple desalination plants in California. They literally exist. They exist right now. Have you ever seen the Middle East? Half of the buildings that you see from like above, from like the aerial maps that Google Maps puts together, half of the buildings are desalination plants.
A lot of desalination done.
Okay,
there's plenty of water. This is not an issue. I want to be clear.
All right. So, but let's talk about AI because, like, you were on this tip 10 years ago when nobody else was. And I always thought he's right. Why? Because I've seen too many movies. Everything that happens in movies then happens in real life. And you know, if you make things that are way smarter than you, why wouldn't they become your?
You're right. Desalination won't cure the watering of crops issues. Which is why we need more efficient agricultural systems like arrow farming or hydroponics. Both extremely efficient water-wise, okay? But also, just build way more desalination plants. Nuclear desalination, baby, let's go.
Your overlords. So what did you say to Chuck Schumer, and what are we doing about this? I know you want to pause in AI because just in the last 6 months with ChatGPT, which came from a company you started.
Yes. Well, I mean, a friend of mine has a sort of modification of Occam's razor.
Wait, I don't think that's true. I don't think ChatGPT was made by a company that Elon started.
So, so instead of the simplest thing being the most likely, the most ironic outcome is the most likely.
Right. Right. Yes.
So, with respect to AI, I just think we should have some sort of regulatory oversight. So, for anything that is a danger to the public, if it's sort of aircraft, cars.
Really interesting that you mentioned cars there, Elon. Elon? Let's just do Anyway, yeah, Elon Musk is a really big fan of government regulation. I'm sure he loved recalling like all of the Tesla cars.
Food and drug and whatnot, we've got some regulatory oversight, like a referee, essentially, and making sure that companies don't cut corners. So I think that since...
Yeah, it'd be a real shame if, I don't know, somebody waged a war on regulators to make sure that, you know, his companies weren't cutting corners. Be a real fucking shame.
If one agrees that AI is a potential risk to the public, then there should be some regulatory body that oversees...
You know, potential risk to the public. Like, I don't know, a car barreling around at 60 miles an hour that's unable to recognize black pedestrians while being fully autonomous.
What companies are doing so that they don't cut corners and potentially do something very dangerous. That's... Yeah.
And if we don't do something, lay out a scenario for me in the next 2, 5, 10 years if nothing is done, because we're very good at doing nothing, especially when it comes in the way of profit, and this is a big profit engine now for companies. They're going to want to just compete with each other. I mean, there are people like Ray Kurzweil who doesn't think it's a problem at all.
Actually, Ray Kurzweil's prediction for artificial superintelligence is 2029. He's not far wrong.
Right. But he doesn't think it's a problem, whereas people like you and Bill Gates and Stephen Hawking think it's a problem.
Yeah, it depends. If some people want to live forever or for a much longer period of time, and they see AI as the only way to, or digital superintelligence as the only thing that can figure out how to get them to live forever, I think Kurzweil is in that category. So he would prefer to have AI, artificial general intelligence, than not, because it can figure out longevity.
So are you optimistic? I read in your Rolling Stone.
Man, that was a lot of words to say. Something something AI, something something immortal, something something. Like just hand wave away the AI is gonna make us immortal somehow, and yeah, it'll just happen. Yeah.
One article back in the day that you said you can never be happy unless you're in love.
Well, you can be half happy, I suppose. I mean, there's two things. I think to be most happy, if you're happy in love.
Man, Bill Maher interviews are like the most mental whiplash I've ever experienced in my entire life. Going from like, hey Elon, is AI gonna destroy the world? Hey, how do you feel about love? like what the hell? What the actual hell? What is this? Elon, you're divorced, right? I'm divorced. What do you think about that? He's so irritating. How do people think he's a genius? You know, Blackjack Sass, it's somewhat telling that I don't know if you're talking about Elon Musk or Bill Maher.
And you love your work, then you'll be, I think, fully happy. If you lack.
Oh my God, that's sad as hell.
And you love your work.
Sorry.
I suppose. I mean, there's two things. I think to be most happy, if you're happy in love and you love your work, then you'll be, I think, fully happy. If you lack either of those two, if you have one of those two things, be half happy, roughly.
I feel like the theme in a lot of your works that connect all these different things is connecting. Like you want to connect things.
You know, it is, I will say, it does bring me a bit of schadenfreude. I can't say that word right, so I'm just going to roll with what I just said, or what the sound that just came out of my mouth. It gives me a lot of warm, fuzzy feelings to know that Elon Musk is just miserable every day of his life because all he has is being the world's shittiest businessman and conning other people out of their money.
You know, you want to connect on the Hyperloop, and you want to connect this to Mars, and even Twitter.
Connect 4.
You want?
I love that game.
What?
Connect 4. We get the. Sorry, this is a comedy, right? Gotta throw some comedy in there.
Okay. It's hard for you because when you bought Twitter, you're kind of doing what you did when you took over, when you started Tesla. You lived at the factory, right? I feel like that's your pattern. You get into this thing, and then you got to live at the factory to make it work. Because you've been you moved to Texas, then you went back up to San Francisco because of Twitter.
I was living in the library of Twitter for a while. Yes. I think things are reasonably stabilized right now. It was just on the fast track to bankruptcy after the acquisition, so I had to take drastic action. There wasn't any choice.
Right. I'm just saying it's hard for a woman.
Yeah.
To like when the guy lives at the factory.
Yes.
That could be a stumbling block. But
yes.
By the way, for those of you who are like, wait, the Hyperloop is a scam. Literally, Paris Marx, a guy who writes about these tech billionaire ghouls, Happy to have this confirmed. The goal of Hyperloop was to get California's high-speed rail canceled. Musk and the Kochs both trying to halt the transition away from automobiles. For Musk, fantasy technologies are preferable to real solutions. So he basically admitted this to his biographer. Here's the relevant section. With any luck, the high-speed rail would be canceled. Musk said as much to me during a series of emails and phone calls leading up to the announcement. Down the road, I might fund or advise on a Hyperloop project, but right now, I can't take my eye off the ball at either SpaceX or Tesla, he wrote. So literally, the Hyperloop proposal wasn't real. He didn't actually think it through. It's just like sci-fi nonsense that he didn't have any actual plan for. He just made it because he hates trains. And by extension, all autistic people.
Overall, with
that last part was a joke. I don't know his opinions on autistic people. It's just most people who hate trains are not to be trusted.
my concern with Twitter was it is somewhat of the digital town square, and it's important that there be both the reality and perception of trust for a wide range of viewpoints, and there was a lot of censorship going on. And we sort of uncovered a lot of that with the Twitter files, including a lot of government-driven censorship, which, you know.
This motherfucker has literally censored more on Twitter than Jack did, okay? Yeah, just real quick. Here, from Forbes. Oh my god, this ad is huge. Get out of here. Okay, Twitter has complied with almost every government request for censorship since Musk took over. Damn, that's crazy, bro. Elon, let's see. Twitter's, oh, sorry, not 100%. Twitter has fully complied with more than 80% of government and court requests to remove or alter content since Elon Musk bought the company, up from around 50% before he took over, according to a report from the technology publication Rest of World, reflecting a discordance between the billionaire's promises to limit political censorship. So just keep that in mind as he waxes philosophical about freedom of speech, okay? He doesn't give a shit.
I mean, it seems that that's got to be a constitutional violation, what was going on there. But and since I'm like an avid Twitter user, I could detect that like something's not right here. And so that's really why I did the acquisition. It wasn't because I thought this was an easy way to make money or something like that. This is me being mayor of Tweet Town or whatever, is definitely like there's a lot of arrows pointed at you, like flying at you.
Of course. But you seem to handle that okay. I hope you do, because
what he handles a lot less okay is the billions upon billions of dollars he's lost since owning Twitter.
Look, I mean, geniuses are going to be a little quirky sometimes, but your heart is always in the right place. You were trying to fix this world, and look, I could talk to you forever. We can't today. I'd love to get high with you. I know a great place to do it. But I can't tell you how much I appreciate you. I know you have a lot of choices and places you can go. Thank you, Elon Musk, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I'll see you soon, Elon.
Fuck, man, that was excruciating. That was excruciating to the extreme. God, when the government and corporations join hands, that's when fascism blooms, just like pre-Musk Twitter. Literally, Elon's version of Twitter complies with 30% more government and court requests. So literally, it's not just like pre-Musk Twitter, it's even more than pre-Musk Twitter. Let's see. Anyway, Elon Musk is a total goon. Bill Maher is just a bag of floppy donkey dicks in a suit. And nothing of value was learned or lost in this segment. Go forward knowing that some of the greatest enemies to democracy are just like paint-huffing ghouls who have literally no good ideas in their heads. Be empowered by the fact that they are absolute dipshits.